Hi, and welcome to Discovering Data Flicks. And today we're going to make a modal pop-up view in our list so that we can click on a row and edit the content of that row and then save it and close the pop-up again. So looking at where we ended last week, we got this list and we can search and we have the SQL database set up. So now we're working with the SQL query instead. So here in the data dictionary, we use the SQL filters to filter this data. We can actually go in here and edit these fields. So I can change this to 30 and then it will be saved. If I search, it's still 30. But what I want to do is I would like to go in and edit one of these by clicking on it. So I would like to open kind of this item view on that particular item. So how do we go about doing that? Yeah, first of all, let's stop this. We're not going to use a grid. We want to use a list. So we're just going to change that to a CWeb list. And if I run this, you'll see that all of a sudden I cannot edit anything. I can only click on these links. Now I need to kind of get some event going here. So I need some OnClick. And in Dataflix, that's called OnRowClick. We're going to tell the grid or the list actually set server OnRowClick to true. So we can just go down here in the object and write procedure OnRowClick, and that actually takes a string row ID. So we want to have that as well. So now we know what string we actually clicked or what row. And instead of navigating away from this list, I would like to stay on this list, but I would like to open a pop-up window where I can see the item. I'm going to start by doing a forward send on row click. Row ID. And now we would like to find the ID or the record we're looking at, we want to look at. So we can do that by send find by row ID off, and we're looking at the data dictionary O item. So it's an item we want to find. And then we have a ref table. And that's the item. And deserialize row ID is row ID. What this will do is it will load the row we clicked into our data dictionary so we can use it. Then we actually want to send a pop-up to a modal view, so we need a modal view, and it's going to be something like the item. What we can do is create a new mobile view. regular web view, call it OItem modal. Okay, and then we take everything from item and just copy it into item modal. Like that. Then we're going to rename this to modal. And the thing that actually does this modal is that it's not a web view, it's a modal dialog. So we're going to also call this item modal. And that's basically what we need. Now this has been added here as well, but we're not going to use it here, so we can actually remove that from this view. We're going to click into it from the menu, and out here you can see that we have these lookups, and item modal is now a web modal dialog, so you can find it under here. So it's not a view, it's a modal dialog. Now we can call this from our item overview by doing send popup of modal item modal self and item dot id. But yeah, let's see if that works. What happens? Oh, we got an error here. Oh, item modal undefined symbol argument. Yes, of course. We need to add it to our list of included packages. Use item modal web object. Let's see if we can run that. Yes, and if I now click frozen berries, I get this pop-up, but it has not loaded the data that I was looking for. So we need to go back and do some more things in our modal view. We can probably read about it in the help text. So what we need is this pop-up handler. So if we have a modal dialog, we have this pop-up. And this is used to initialize the dialog. So we copy that and just go down here. And where we're actually sending the item ID. Which is an integer. And what we can do, we send request clear item td. So we clear our data dictionary. Then we move our item ID to item.id. So seeding the table with the right ID, and then we need to find, and we do that by doing send find of item dd, and we would like to find a equals index 1, because we do have our index set up in the index 1. So let's see how that works. If we recompile. And we click paint, and we get our paint here. It's perfect. And we got our shirt. we might want to update the size of this thing. Let's see. Description. It's a little bit too small, I think. We could fill the width. We could set the height to, let's say 100. And then we at least see something in here. The location. Keep that inside. And I think we're good to go with the design. Now we would like to edit this as well. And we would like to add a save button, for instance. So let's go to the class palette and add a button somewhere. It doesn't have to be that big. I'll put it here. And then we can call it save. And we have an OnClick. So what we want to do in the OnClick is we want to make sure that we save these changes we made. And then we might want to close it and go back to the list. Let me just try to send request save. So item PD right here. That should probably close it. Okay, it turns out that we have a little bug in our system, and it was a bit tricky to find out. But as you notice, when I go in here, and if I set a breakpoint in our close modal dialog, if I change this to red and save, it actually goes in here and then it saves. So when it tries to refresh the grid, it has not saved the record yet. Now I save and it does no refresh. But I thought that I did save it, but it turns out that I did not, because I was missing the off here. So if we now go in and run this script, and now it says red, I can change that to blue and press save. It will save directly and update the script. So now let's see what we have done and wrap this up. We have created our item modal, which was a C-Wave modal dialog, and it was a copy of our item. We did change something with the height here. Otherwise, we did this pop-up item that found our item when we loaded the page. So this we want to stage, and here we included our item modal. We changed the web grid to a web list so that we didn't have the option of editing every single row everywhere. We just want to click. And then we added the row click and the on close modal dialog features. And that's it for this video. There you go. That's it for this time. And now we're starting to have a complete application. There are still some things we might look at and try to add to this application. And if you have any ideas or suggestions on what we should do, if you want to do something with your application, then add it in the comments below, and I'll see if I can accommodate that. Otherwise, I will continue adding some of the feature I feel that is relevant or could be relevant for the application. So see you next week. Bye bye.